your computers and your smartphone. First, iPhones are less susceptible to hackers, but if you have an Android phone, download the Lookout app to make sure that your Android stays safe. Next, for your computer, download the free AVG antivirus program or Avast. Either one will scan your computer and clear out questionable programs that may contain malware. Third, change the name of your Wi-Fi router and the password that's used to log on to the router. Don't skimp on the password either. Use upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. But write it all down and put it in a safe place because no one can remember those complicated passwords, which is the point. And take some time this weekend to read more about your online safety and security, along with the latest breaking tech news updated all the time at my website, Komando.com. That's Komando.
This is Michael Garfield. The iHeartRadio Show Your Stripes movement is connecting veterans and employers. Last year, countless companies benefited from the elite training and skills of over 250,000 newly hired veterans. Have a job to fill? Post it to the Show Your Stripes job site at iHeartRadio.com/showyourstripes. Also browse through over 70,000 resumes. Vets, your next job could be there waiting. Hire smart, hire vets. iHeartRadio.com/showyourstripes.
Hey, folks, it's Michael Berry. It's Saturday night. And on Saturday night, there's nothing I like better than Ramon and A.D. and producer Kenny on the radio. I'm definitely drunk right now.
Wow, I hear it, A.D.
Yep.
When you said that during the break, I thought, no, there's no way. But I hear it.
You hear what?
Well, A.D. will explain.
All right, so this song is Tom Petty's Last Dance with Mary Jane. And when the Black Keys released a song called Little Black Submarines, a lot of people...
Little black submarines, operator, please put me back.
Exact same chord progression. And when the song kicks in, a lot of people were just like, hey, that's a ripoff of Dani California by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I was like, au contraire. The Red Hot Chili Peppers ripped off Tom Petty.
Wow. Just sped it up a little bit.
So who's the victim in all of this?
She grew up in an Indiana town, had a good-looking mama that never was around, but she grew up tall and she grew up right in the Indiana boys with them Indian eyes.
I think we just discovered why our respective music careers failed and we wound up on the radio.
What? I sing good.
But you can white rap, right? That's close enough.
I can white rap. But yeah, no, like even Tom Petty acknowledged it. I think Tom Petty's on Warner's or was at the time, and people were just like, hey, that Dani California song sounds an awful lot like The Last Dance with Mary Jane. And he was like, yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? But then he never went after him for money, I think because they were on the same label, and someone probably was just like, here's some hush money. We need this Red Hot Chili Peppers thing to do well.
I bet also kind of a little bit Tom Petty respects the fact that he probably borrowed that chord progression from someone and we just don't know about it. Because, I mean, really, what's Tom Petty but like a slightly younger, more evolved Bob Dylan?
Okay. I would go with that. And like also, if you know anything about music, if you even have a vague understanding of music, you understand that the same chord progressions show up over and over again in song after song after song. But the whole sort of like feel of Last Dance with Mary Jane versus Dani California is mighty specific and very close. It's just sort of like they went, oh, we can do something like that. Yeah, no problem.
Have you ever noticed how every song that you hear at like an evangelical church is kind of the same thing?
Sure.
Not to rip on church music, but
yeah,
if you go to white people church, every song is the same. If you go to black people church, the music's better. Trust me, I know. I've been to both. And if you go to like Catholic Italian church, it's really dry. It's like you know, it's like that kind of, is this singing or are we just
I'd love to be able to comment on some of this, and I'm sure Ramon would be able to comment on this too if we both didn't sort of fail to see color the way Kenny does in such a prominent way.
What? It's true though. Black people have good music at their church. Come on, have you ever seen the movie Blues Brothers? I'll stand by that for the rest of my life. Black church is so much more fun than white church. So much more fun.
Yeah, when James Brown is your pastor, as he was in the Blues Brothers movies, the quality of what's going on at the pulpit will have a distinctly or more rockin'. Distinctlier? Yes, let's add that one to the dictionary. Yes, distinctlier. It has a distinctly more awesome feel. Something, I don't know.
But dude, it's true. I used to go to this church in Indiana, and it was like right over the border from Chicago, on the south side, and they would bring like a motorcycle out on stage. They would bring a horse up on stage.
What?
They had a band with a percussionist, a drummer, a full horn section, a guitarist, an electric guitarist, a guy that played a hollow body guitar, a turntablist, 4 lead singers, a rapper, a choir with about 100 people in it, and several leads in the choir had their own wireless mic. They would dance. They would do the splits. They would do backflips. These guys would jump off the stage into the crowd. They would pretend to black out on stage, or they would. I mean, they would legitimately black out on stage. Who am I to say that it wasn't real? But there was some, like, people would go into convulsions and shake around on the floor. I saw some interesting stuff happen at a black person church in Chicago called Family Christian Center. And
what kind of church?
A black people church, gospel, evangelical gospel. For sure, it's a black person church.
Sure, of course.
But they'll even admit that it's black folk church.
But if you get too many white people going to the black churches, then it's no longer a black church and it loses its soul.
Well, you got to keep up. It's like if you go to the black people barbecue, you can't show up at the black people barbecue with like a tub full of mayonnaise. They want some soul food, man.
Sure.
They want some good food. I can't cook, so I never get invited to the barbecue, but I do go to church once in a while.
I need a barbecue.
Ramon's a really good cook.
Thanks, AD. Is this from the Blues Brothers?
Yes, of course.
I've never seen the movie.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I know of it, and I've seen clips.
Everyone was going to spend their weekend watching Robin Williams movies. You, my friend, must watch the Blues Brothers. It's almost infeasible that you're a part of this show and haven't seen it.
You don't really understand me until you've seen the Blues Brothers.
I think go ahead.
No. You know all those times where you tell me, like, I just don't understand Kenny, and I go, look, you got to watch the Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
Case in point.
Yeah, that's it.
You have to see the Blues
Brothers.
Brothers.
Has it aged well, though? Because, like, when I watch... I watch Blazing Saddles, some of those jokes just kind of fall flat to me.
Well, this has aged well, absolutely, because a certain portion of subculture here in the modern day was replicated and molded and sculpted by... Look at the House of Blues. That's all Blues Brothers stuff. That's in every city.
Well, let me make a confession, if I may. Now, AD, you're sitting down.
I'm sitting.
I think John Belushi is overrated.
I would agree with that, actually. But this is the reason why he's overrated. Is because he's so good in this movie.
Okay. So
he's great in this movie. But you're right. What's another John Belushi movie? Animal House? Like, who cares about that? And Ghostbusters, he was...
What?
Animal House, it did not age well. Because now they've got all these other terrible college movies that are replicated after it. Like, National Lampoon's kept trying to recreate the magic of Animal House. And they've even got a crappy go-to-college movie with Paris Hilton and that guy that's Dirt Nasty that raps with Andy Milonakis is in it. It's awful. And it's on HBO late at night. There's hundreds of those out there, but Animal House is not that great. Blues Brothers is really, really good.
Okay,
dude. You got to see it.
Okay, okay.
It's probably been done to death. But how did you guys individually feel about the passing of Robin Williams this past week just gone by?
Why don't you go first?
Okay, obviously shocking. And the way I feel about suicide, especially when you have children, is kind of a cowardly act. I don't mean disrespect, but it is kind of a cowardly act. You feel sorry for the family.
Yeah.
And, he brought so much joy to everybody. It was so sad to hear how in bad shape he was.
Yeah. Suicide is complicated because when people suffer from depression, there are other elements taking effect there. This is a guy who is so financially well off. His life he'll never have to worry about going broke. This is a guy who's loved everywhere on earth. Even ISIS tweeted out that they were upset about the death of Robin Williams. Think about that. That's incredible.
That's true.
But depression's
Wait, that's actually true?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Members of ISIS had an argument on Twitter over whether or not he was had contributed positively to humanity, and that their favorite movie was Jumanji as a child. And another member of ISIS was upset that they tweeted out that. There's a lot of terrorists on Twitter. That's My monitoring of terrorists on Twitter recently has gotten a little out of hand, I have to admit.
Really?
But, yeah, we had Tweet a Terrorist Day on Walton and Johnson on Tuesday where we got everybody to tweet things that they love to terrorists, like pictures of pork sausage and, like, cheerleaders, things that they love about America. Why terrorists should love America.
That's funny.
And they blocked us. It didn't last long, but, yeah. But it is
well,
what it is.
I think being blocked is the highest form of flattery in that, like, you set out to get under someone's skin, and if they blocked you, you clearly, like, I think one of my proudest Twitter moments was being blocked by Chris Brown on Twitter. That was a good one. Like, he had, like, I relentlessly trolled him for a while because he's a woman-beating piece of human garbage that's out walking the streets getting Grammys and monies and all this sort of stuff when he should be in prison being treated as somebody's little puppy. And I find him to be abhorrent, and the fact that the PR machine was paid to turn his fortunes around because a record label was making so much money off him to be hypocritical and awful. And so, like, my little way of righting wrongs was to tweet him relentlessly saying nasty things about him. And he was releasing some Team Breezy windbreakers, and Team Breezy is a terrible fashion line, and he was
Breezy,
like,
y'all, Team Breezy.
yeah, he was like, yo, get ready for these breezy windbreakers, and he was like, they're awesome or something.
Got to correct you right there. I'm pretty sure Team Breezy is the name of the Tampon Playtex street team. Sorry, I'm just sure that's what.
I am unaware, but I tweeted back to him. I was like, good, easy to clean girlfriend's blood out of, I'm assuming. And he blocked me after that. And I was like, hey, I succeeded in annoying him. My work here is done. So getting blocked by terrorists is pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. And there's a comedian from Houston who kind of got famous for making fun of Chris Brown.
Jenny Johnson.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Jenny Johnson, who is hilarious. And she had one tweet the other day that I really, really loved. It was something like YOLO, selfie, and some other word had been added to the Oxford English Dictionary, and she was like, so go slam your junk in a car door, English language and collective intelligence, or something like that. And I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, and now he doesn't take her calls anymore. Hey, speaking of take her calls, do you guys know what the butterfly effect is?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so do you know what it is, AD?
The idea that one thing touches everything else?
Right. It's a philosophical theory that you could go back in time.
The idea that Ashton Kutcher cannot carry a movie as a star?
No, it turned out he couldn't. No, he carried Demi Moore for a few years, though.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the actual thing. Wait
a second. Wait. Hold on. Time out. Ramon, Demi Moore. Yes or no? Would you, and from what era?
Any.
After everyone on the show agreed that we'd all have sex with Oprah, I don't think that
our standards are very
you have
high.
to ask about Demi Moore.
Nah, because like telling the I did it with Oprah story is just like that has like it's not so much the doing it with Oprah, it's the fact that you can later on trot out the I did it with Oprah story.
I mean,
have you ever?
Is Demi Moore not just as good?
I got to be very delicate about how I say this, but if you use a sort of engine that searches, which is connected to a super highway of information, Ramon, I don't know if you can do this and remain employed while at the office. See if you can pull it up.
All right.
But I think she was in Playboy back in the day. There are numerous instances of Demi Moore naked on the interwebs.
Oh, sure.
And the reason I want to ask you this is because you're a manager here. Maybe you can pass this off as it was for the show, or maybe disconnect your phone from Wi-Fi and do the search. But there are naked pictures of Demi Moore on the internet, which clearly illustrate she was not a fan of grooming heavily south of the equator back in the 80s or whenever she first nuded up.
It was a different time.
It was, but it is so, what she has going on is so plentiful and abundant and so much like the great Robin Williams movie Jumanji that it's really gonna give me cause for pause about the whole situation.
Oh, I would do it. But plus, like, times have changed. You don't think she's kept up with the times?
It's just it would be burned into my head that's what was there previously. I don't know if I could squeegee that one. I don't know if I could squeegee that one out of my mind's eye.
No, you could. Come on, Demi Moore. Plus, if Demi Moore's got that going on, what do you think Oprah's got? It's probably like a wig down there. Is that too much? So the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to it's hard to believe there was once a time when human beings didn't know how to answer the phone.
Right.
And so, do you know Thomas Edison Actually, Thomas Edison made the telephone famous, but he didn't invent it. Alexander Graham Bell did. You guys know that, right?
Yes.
And did you know that they once had an argument about how you should answer the phone?
Mm-mm.
Right. So Thomas Edison